You want answers?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You want answers?
You have offended my family.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth.
And you have offended Shaolin Temple.
You can't handle the truth.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Radical Rant.
Welcome back, everyone, to our last little segment for you podcast listeners before we head off to Thanksgiving. And I wanted to send us off on a 4-day weekend on a happy note by talking about the marijuana nation be thankful for, besides the obvious, marijuana. But we have so much to be thankful for as activists in this movement. And first thing first is we should be thankful for living in this country we live in the United States of America, that provides us the freedom to put on this show, to talk about marijuana, to assemble peaceably, to gather together, to fight and redress our government, to address our government for a redress of grievances. These are the kind of things that make me proud and very happy to live in this country. There are countries in this world where possession of a seed can get you executed. You know, there's Malaysia, there's Saudi Arabia. You can have parts chopped off for being involved with cannabis. So we should all be very thankful that we're living where we're living. And our friends in Canada too, you live in a system where you can fight for your rights as well. So let's be thankful for that. I also want to be thankful for everyone who's involved in the fight to end marijuana prohibition, regardless of their strategy, their tactics, their focus, because we're all on the same side. We're all fighting for that same glorious day when we can use the plants that come out of the ground, when we can realize our hemp heritage, when we can be treated as adults, we can be treated as citizens to live our lives freely so long as we're not interfering with the rights of others. And so there's groups out there, you know, MPP, ASA, DPA, SAFER, MAPS, SSDP, CSDP, you know, PDQ. There's a million of us out there, it seems. And I'm thankful for all of them. We all have our role to play. We all have our advantages and disadvantages. And to have multiple groups working on marijuana prohibition, to me, is our greatest strength. You know, some people think it's a weakness. I think it's our greatest strength because, like an advancing army, we can approach from many different fronts. We can attack on the medical front. We can attack on the spiritual front. We can attack on the legal front, on the civil rights front. There is the industrial hemp front. There is so much in marijuana worth fighting for that it only makes sense that there are multiple groups fighting for it. I'm thankful to the donors to NORML. I'm thankful for the people that have put me in this position and put all of us who work for NORML in this position of representing the cannabis community and fighting for our rights. It's truly an honor, and I remember it every day that I come to work here, that the only reason I have this job is because people are counting on us and people are supporting us, and people who can't speak out because they have jobs or families or they risk their freedom. The people that can't speak out contribute to those of us who can and those of us who will. And I always remember that, and I'm always so thankful for that. I think we all need to be thankful for our opponents as well. And I know this is a strange thing to say, but we need to be thankful for those who challenge us. And I'm not talking about the DEA or the prohibitionists. I'm talking about the ones in our movement, you know, the so-called stoners against legalization or whatever else you want to attribute that to. I'm even thankful for them for questioning and being skeptical and causing us to have to firm up our arguments and find better ways to explain things to people and to form better coalitions and to bring more people on board. I'm thankful for that. That's a good thing for us to have internal debate. I'm thankful for the people who gave us the chance to have this debate. People like Richard Lee and Jack Harrer and Dennis Perrone and all of the pioneers who've come beforehand, whose shoulders we stand on as we try to end this marijuana prohibition. You know, some people think about it and they get depressed. You know, after 40 years, we're still fighting this battle and, you know, it's never going to end or it's been futile to this point or whatever. I don't feel that at all. I feel like we are winning this marathon. We are winning this marathon. It's not a sprint. And every success just brings us closer and closer and closer to that final goal. I'm thankful for the people. Oh boy, I can't tell you how thankful I am to the people who volunteer their time to help put this show on. understand I'm the only one who gets paid here working on Normal Show Live. And believe me, it's something we are desperately trying to fix. We've got Ganja John and Cannabis Carrie who each put in 15 hours a week volunteer time helping to put this show on. We've got our volunteer music editors like John Doe Radio, Grateful Dread Public Radio, Herb Thrasher, Sarah Kant, who are putting their time in exchange for a small promotion of their work, but mostly because they too support this mission of ending adult marijuana prohibition, and they too feel like they're a part of something larger, part of a movement. I could not do this show without them, and I thank them so much for being a part of it. I'm thankful for our advertisers and other supporters who are allowing us to help promote their businesses in order to, work together in ending this adult marijuana prohibition. This has been one of the most exciting things about the past 5-6 years in marijuana activism, is seeing the growth of the industry, of now trade groups forming around the cannabis industry, and we should not shy away from the business aspect of cannabis. We should embrace that. That's a big part of it's the engine that's going to power us through ending prohibition. So I'm thankful to all those entrepreneurs who are out there working hard and making money and plowing that money back into the movement. We desperately need that help. I'm thankful for the growers out there. I go off a lot on the black market and prohibition pricing, and I know that offends some people. And I won't shy away from still saying that it's wrong to profit excessively on prohibition, and it's wrong to overcharge people for marijuana. But a lot of the stuff I say, when I'm talking about black market and I'm trying to maybe scare the general public in a sense here about how unregulated the market is. But to be honest with you, every time I've ever had to, engage what's the so-called black market in marijuana, it's always been a pleasant experience. I've made many friends who are growers in that time. And it's kind of a tough line to have to balance here. But by and large, most of the people that are getting their marijuana, and most of the people, okay, I'll just say that most of the people I know, even back from my Idaho days, who were getting a hold of marijuana, were getting it from a family man who was maybe growing a few plants in his closet and selling some extra bags of weed to help pay the bills, or maybe so that the mom could stay home and raise the kids instead of having to have two people in the workplace. So that some people have taken advantage of prohibition pricing to get around a bad economy, it's just the nature of prohibition. It's the natural outlet of that. So I'm thankful to those people who are growing the weed and getting it out to their friends and not overcharging, and the ones that aren't a part of a big, elaborate conspiracy scheme or massive amounts of trafficking that are going on. Obviously the Mexican cartels and some of the big time dealing does bring with it a lot of bad, awful things. Those aren't the people that I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for the small time grower, the little guy who's getting marijuana out to his family and his friends, and just a small circle of people. That's another way that we end this prohibition. We overgrow the government, as Mark Emery was wont to say. I'm thankful for all of the people that support this show and watch the show and listen to the show and download the podcast day after day after day. You are the people that we're fighting for, and I'm thankful there's so many of us. There's 26 million Americans in this country who will smoke marijuana this year. A lot of us will smoke it this weekend as we're giving thanks. And without you, without your support, without those people who write us day after day, telling us some of the most tragic tales. I mean, we get stories from people that are losing their kids, and people whose father is going away for 20 years, and it's just terrible. And every day, I'm thankful for those people, and I'm thankful that we have the resources to do something about it, and we have the people who care that'll keep donating and keep this engine running so that we can finally end adult marijuana prohibition. So for everyone out there in Normal's purview and in the broader marijuana nation in general, I'd like to just wrap up by reminding you to look at all the good. Look at I mean, we've had our defeats. This election was tough. You know, we lost Prop 19, we lost in Oregon, we lost in South Dakota, but look at the good. We defeated Steve Cooley in California. It's made official now, I think. We won in Arizona with medical marijuana. We're going to win in New Jersey to reject those terrible medical marijuana rules that they've put forth. We've got bills moving forward in Pennsylvania and Illinois and Alabama. We've got people protesting in Idaho, my home state of Idaho, getting out there and smoking weed on this in the streets as a civil disobedience in Idaho. And it's spreading worldwide too. We got people in Finland on the steps of their parliament. We got our protesters in New Zealand who are pushing shopping carts full into police buildings. I mean, it's amazing, and I'm thankful to be alive at this time in history when we can all be a part of the next great civil rights movement. For everyone here at normal.org, I'm Radical Russ. Thanks for joining us. We will not be here for Thanksgiving Day or the Friday afterwards, but I will be playing a gig on Friday night, I just realized. Unfortunately, at the same time Boise State's playing, but hey, got to do what we got to do. For Cannabis Carrie and Ganja John and everyone here at the Normal Foundation, thanks for listening and downloading and supporting Normal. And until next time, take care of each other, tokers.